Hello, welcome to this tutorial. I'm very glad to have you all. In this video we'll be designing a letter-headed paper. So now let's start with our work. File, File, New. Now print, I'll be going for A4. You can see the dimension here, A4, and I'll click on. So let's rename this. Let's name our work okay. Let's go. Now the next thing to do now is to come over to view. I want to divide this document. I want to divide it into 3 parts so that it can make our work easier, so that we can be able to place our design properly. So I'll come over to view to do that, then I'll come over to new guide, then I'm going to give this 3 of this will give us 33.3%, right? Okay, vertical, you can see. Right, now I'll come over there again to view, new guide, then 33.3% times 2 will give us 66.6%, right? Okay, so you can see what we have now. So now after that, the next thing to do now is to come over to the rectangle tool. So I'll be making use of this color, rectangle tool. So now just come over here and let's draw our rectangle. So now you can see the fill has been cancelled, so just click on it and let's change the color to this. We have to go to this side first. Okay, change this color. Okay, right. So now the next thing to do now is to come over here. I will be duplicating this rectangle by clicking on Ctrl J. So it's been duplicated. The next thing I'll do now is I will be changing this color. I'll bring this changing this color by double clicking on it. So I'll be going for this. Okay, so after that, you can see this color has covered this. So what we'll do is I'll just drag this below the first rectangle so that it can be under it. Then I will make sure you are on the move tool. While you are on the move tool, just click on, while using your arrow button, your arrow key on your keyboard, just shift it up a little bit. Yes, like this. Now the next thing now is to come over to we're making another shape, another rectangle, by coming over to the rectangle tool, and I'll come over here and I'll be drawing my rectangle like this. Okay, I think this is too big. This is too big. I don't want it as big as this. Let me delete it. Let me redraw it. Yes. Now I want to change the color of this by double clicking on this box here, and I want to use something like gray, like this. Okay, Ctrl T. I still want to expand this a little bit. Okay, let me see this. Yes, it's cool like this. Now the next thing I'll do now is I'll be duplicating this rectangle tool by clicking on Ctrl J. Now I'll be changing the color of this. I'll be changing this color now to this. Okay, now use this, then I'll shift this back. While you're on the move tool, make sure you're on the move tool, shift this back by using the arrow button on your keyboard. let's shift this back like this. Okay, and the next one now is to duplicate this again. Control J. Now it's been duplicated. Now change the color. I'll be using this. Okay, and I'll move it as well. Okay, now this particular one, I want to move it back a little bit. Okay, now you can see what we have. Now the next thing to do now is to come over to, let's bring in the logo we want to use for this. The logo we want to use, yes, the logo we want to use, let's bring it in. So let's just minimize this. Minimize this. This is the logo I want to use. Just drag it down to Photoshop. Just place it here. Okay, so now just try to adjust it like this and bring it down here. Adjust this a little bit more. Bring it down here. Okay. So these three rectangles, I want to match the three together. One, by selecting the three, the third one, and I just click on them and match shapes. Wow. So let's group by clicking on Ctrl G. You can see when we match it, there was some kind of distortion, right? So now I'm using my arrow key to move the shapes like this, just like this. And the next thing to do now is to type in, let's come back to text. So let's type in something here. Okay, so let's increase the size. Okay, so let's type in what we want to type. So let's type what we want to type now. Okay. We have to reduce the size and the font of this. I want to make use of something else as the font. Let me see this. let me try this. So let me look for okay, I think this is very cool. So now the next thing now is to come over to test again. So let's type something else again, this which is let's reduce the size of this. Of this like this. Okay, let's come back to the group and let's just adjust it. And next thing I'll do now is I'll be duplicating this, but before that let's come over to the ellipse tool like this. So let's draw our okay, so let's change the color to this. Okay, so that's what we have. Now let's click on Ctrl T to transform this. Okay, so bring it down a little bit. Now let's duplicate this by clicking on Ctrl J, then drag, then Ctrl J again, then drag. Okay, so the next thing now is to come over to, I think it still has to, I think I want to Ctrl T. I would like to transform this a little bit. Okay, now it's cool like this. Ctrl J, Ctrl J, okay. Now the next thing now is to come over to Let me come over here. So I'm bringing in the location icon down here. Okay, let me transform this. So now I'll be changing the color of this by double clicking on it. I'm on the layer already. So I'll double click on the icon layer, and I'll come over to color overlay. Now choose white so that it can be visible. Now the second, minimize the second one will be the whole icon. Drag it down here. Then let me adjust it. Okay. So now double click on the layer and choose the color overlay white. You can see. And the third one now, which is this, reduce the size. So I'll be changing the color as well by double clicking on the layer and choose color overlay. Okay, so the next thing now is to come over here and let's input our text. Input our text. See, now come over here, input our text. But before that, I would like to make a little bit of adjustment here by selecting all this icon. I want to adjust this all together. Select this as well. Select this ellipse. Select this. Select this, select this, just click on Control, then you select so that you can select this and select this. So what I want to move everything like this down all together. Now you see what I'm doing. While I'm on the move tool, I can easily move everything down. You can see. You can see. Now you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so that's why I selected. I can easily move everything together. Wow, since I've selected this global network too, but I will adjust that later. Okay, now let's deselect it. So now let's come over to let me come over here, let me adjust this back up. Okay, so now let me come over here to our text now. Now to the text. Now write. And I'm writing the location of this. 20. Okay, let me increase the size. 23. Align. Good. Okay, so let's just come to the move tool and double click on this to select this, and let's reduce the size. So let's just move this down. Let's change the color to white. Let's change the font. Okay, and let's change the size. Let's adjust the size. So let's copy this, Ctrl J, let's duplicate it, Ctrl J, and let's edit it. Bring it down. So edit it by double clicking on it and writing okay. So now let's move this to the arrow key. You can adjust the size a little bit. Okay. Okay, so then adjust the size of this as well. This size is 15, right? So let's adjust this as well to 15. Okay, then bring down a little bit. Now the next thing now is the call. By coming back to the tests, impute the call as well, and okay. So while you're on the move to just move it down like this. So you can just increase the size a little bit. Okay, let's duplicate this, Ctrl J, and drag down like this. then double click to now edit it like okay. So double click on it to adjust the size. Okay, and adjust. So you can see what we have now. So now the next thing to do now is to come over here. So we'll be duplicating this particular logo. Come over here, Ctrl J. So it has been duplicated. Ctrl J to duplicate it, then drag it down. You can see now. Ctrl T, so that we can transform it. It can be bigger. Okay, I think it's cool like this. So now let's bring this to the middle by clicking on while you're on the layer, click on Ctrl A, then come over here, click on this side so that it can now is in the middle now. Then Ctrl D to deselect. Now you come over to the opacity and reduce it. You can see. Okay, 20 is cool. So you can see what we have now. And the next thing to do now is to let's save our work. But before that, I think we still need to do some kind of Ctrl T transformation here. Yes. Just so that's view ruler. I think we still need to adjust this a little bit, or let's bring this down a little bit. I think it's cool like this. So this is our letterhead paper. Now the next thing to do now is to save this by coming over to File, Save As. Then you just choose JPEG. Then letterhead paper, JPEG. This desktop. Save. Okay. So that's about that. So thank you for watching. See you later.